Hello, 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 friends. We're live. Hi, welcome to anyone that is here. I'm going to actually mute myself just for a little while we wait on everyone to join us. But if you are here, my little guy says hi to you. I'm going to mute myself for now, but we'll be back. Emily, you are live on camera right now. Hi.
Hi. All right.
I just told everyone that we are live, but we are going to be back in like 5 minutes whenever they settle. So you can mute yourself and turn your camera off for now, if you so desire.
All right, I'll be right back.
The welcome committee, whatever you want.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hi. If you guys can see me, let me know in the comment window. Can you see this little dude?
I can.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Oh, he says, hey. I think his first word is going to be hi. He's already started to sort of say, hey.
Oh, Tyler started waving today. He does it like this.
Oh, that's the best. Okay, can everybody see the video? The comment window is going to move so fast because we have almost 2,000 people joining us today.
Holy mackerel.
Amazing.
Hi, everyone.
Yay, I see so many friends here on the chat. This is exciting, y'all.
Oh.
Oh, yes, he says, hi, guys. Hi. Okay, pause on the introductions for a second, and y'all tell me, you can see the picture? We good? Live on camera? Oh my gosh, he's
He's
really...
going to be a singer, Laura.
What do you think, bud? Would you like to say anything?
I love his hair.
It's the mad scientist hair. It's always crazy. I like spiking his hair up, but sometimes, I mean, look at this. Can we just talk about
How
this?
much hair he has.
I know. He's so much hair. And look at that belly.
Buddy.
All right, we're live in my office right now. I told all the ladies to turn off the internet so we have a really good signal today.
I had to do the same thing. And Whitney and Mackenzie are in here with me.
Hi, Whitney Mackenzie. All right, we're just waiting like 2 minutes to get started. Some people are saying they can't see anything yet. So you might want to close out if you can't see anything yet and then come back. But most people are having a good signal, right? We good so far? Okay, good. And if for some reason you missed, oh my gosh, I've never heard him talk like this.
Hi, buddy.
If you miss anything, by the way, friends, or your signal cuts out, you will get a recording. So if for some reason it's gross, the picture, hopefully the recording will be a-okay. Okay, good. It's working for you.
So fast.
Oh, somebody said there's a reconnect button at the bottom. Okay, well, if you need to reconnect, use the reconnect button at the bottom. That's very helpful. Thank y'all. I have a special friend that's going to join us to moderate today's chat and convo. She's eating her lunch, which is important because she has a baby in her belly, but it's Emily Thomas.
Yay.
This kid.
Hey, Joshua.
He's not going to be here the whole time. Don't worry, you won't be this distracted.
I feel like I need to bring his buddies in here and say hi.
Yes. The picture that you posted of them, Emily, knocking at your door a couple weeks ago, like, let me in.
They're so funny.
Oh,
they're so funny. We have 5, almost 6 kids between us.
That is just
pending potential adoption.
That is crazy.
I remember we had 0.
We have 0. God is good.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get started in 2 more minutes. We're waiting till 5 after the hour. Right, bud? 5 after the hour. Oh, so excited. I'm so grateful that y'all joined us. This is going to be fun.
Can you believe Christmas is in 10 days?
Don't even say it. Don't want to hear it. La, la, la.
You know how many presents I've wrapped?
How many?
0.
You're ahead of me. Here is Emily Thomas. I already gave an intro for you, saying that you were eating lunch, which was important because you have a little one in your belly. All right, y'all say hello to Emily Thomas. We're very stripey today.
We are. Emily. Great.
And Emily is too.
Yes. Y'all got the message.
There's stripes behind me too.
We get emails to our office that are actually meant for Emily Lay, but they go to Emily Thomas because I have 2 Emilys in my life. So
lots of people like to ask me about my twins, and I'm like, I do not have twins. So. But yeah, they're doing great.
That's amazing.
You never know. Crazy things have happened before.
That's true.
Josh just wants to talk to Emily.
Hi, buddy. I'm gonna go get your buddies here in a minute.
Okay, get the buddies. Get the buddies. Yep, we're just waiting on people to join. So y'all get settled. We're gonna get the buddies.
So I can read that a little bit easier.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna switch around with you. We're gonna switch seats. This is live, you know. Emily's going to moderate the chat today and help us to be sure that we answer all the questions because I have been known to forget questions. So that's exciting and important. Hi, it's a friend.
It's Joshua.
Oh my gosh. gosh. He's like, what do you think of my hair?
Hey, pretty girl.
All right, I'm gonna go. Oh my gosh, that's some cuteness.
Did you say hi? Oh, Tyler learned to wave today. Maybe he'll do it. Did you say hi? You have yogurt on your face. They're so interested in what's on my desk. Like, I have those things.
And if you guys are asking questions in the chat window, try to save your questions for the end because the chat is moving so fast that even for Emily here to flag them right now is going to be really challenging for us. So try to hold them for the end. I promise we'll get to as many as we can. All right, I'm passing my baby off. He's flying.
Mine off too.
Netherlands.
I'm going to take care of that now. Be right back.
But someone did ask, is this webinar different than the one I'll be doing in January for Power Sheets? Yes, very different. So today is going to be very casual, but we have some practical tools and tips and hopefully some really good encouragement to share with you today. And then the webinar that I'll be doing in January is just for Power Sheets users, and that's going to be very specific to that process. So yeah, two totally different things.
They're crawling back in here.
Baby's on the move. All right, let's get started.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Lara, you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, kick it off.
Okay. Well, we're just glad that you're here, and I know this is one of the craziest times of the year. I don't know if it feels like that for you, but it feels like that for me. And it's very easy to feel overwhelmed right now with everything we have going on for the holidays. But Lara is getting ready for 2016 in her office. I'm getting ready for 2016 in mine. And personally, 2015 was a massive year. And I don't know about you guys, but it went really fast for me. And I was telling Lara earlier this morning that my word for next year is less. I just want less. More time to just sit and enjoy. So all of this today is just preparing for a joyful 2016, whatever that looks like for you. And I just wanted to give you guys a little background on us. Lara and I have known each other now for 8 years.
Yes.
All right. 8. We grew up in the same hometown in Pensacola, Florida. And I was a Facebook stalker a little bit because Lara had this really great wedding magazine, but it was really little at the time. Actually, I don't know if you had started Southern Weddings yet. I know you were doing events. And we had some mutual friends.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had some mutual friends, and so I would kind of watch what she was doing and think, like, how amazing that she just decided, here's the life I want, and I'm just going to have it. And she did it. And so I followed her and started my own company in 2008. And Lara posted a scholarship opportunity for the very first Making Things Happen conference. And I thought, I don't ever win anything, but I'll just submit to this thing and see what happens. And I got it. And I met Lara and Gina Zeidler and a bunch of other great friends there. And I guess it was a little while later, Lara said, hey, why don't you come and join me on the Making Things Happen tour? We used to do a tour. And we have traveled everywhere from New York to Chicago to LA to Maui to every town in between doing Making Things Happen. And I have been out of it for a year because I had kiddos. And I can't wait to get back in the spring. But Lara and I have gone through every up and down. We have gone through infertility and miscarriages and business and husbands and all kinds of things. And so I'm just so grateful for her friendship and for the example she sets. And so I'm excited to do this with her. She's one of my dearest friends. So, yeah.
I love you. We're going to start off so sappy here. Sorry, guys. But seriously, I don't know where I'd be without this lady. And just so grateful for the journey that God has taken us on these last 8 years.
Yeah.
And the encouragement that we want to give to you guys today, though, is from what Emily and I have both experienced, not only in our businesses, but in our friendships, in motherhood, in the mess that we've gone through with even marriage and so many things, is that you do not have to be perfect to live a life of purpose, because we are not perfect at all. We may have all white offices, but that does not mean that we are perfect people.
You see the other side of it? It's actually a mess over here. This is pretty.
But I'll just share a quick story here, is that we had our Southern Weddings team dinner. Emily is the creative director of Southern Weddings. So if you're just tuning in, this is Emily Thomas.
Hello.
Mystery person over here. But we just had a wonderful team celebration dinner on Friday. And something that Emily encouraged me with, we go around and we give encouragement to people, is just how much change she has seen in my life over the last, how long have we known each other now?
6.5 years.
6.5 years. And I definitely can't credit myself with that change, but there have been many times of making very risky decisions for what matters most. And if there's one thing that the three of us share in common, it's a passion for doing that and also helping other women to do the same. So I hope that if you get anything out of today, because we're going to go through a lot of practical advice, we're going to go through some questions. We're going to ask you a lot of questions. This is very interactive today. I just hope so much that you get out of this that, number one, it's okay to let go and not do it all, because we're so in that place right now. And the times that Emily, Lay, and I, sorry, this will get confusing with you, but the times that Emily, Lay, and I have chosen to let go and take a risk, and that risk, you know, maybe was quite messy, or showed our imperfection, or showed that we didn't have it all together, those are the times that we've grown the most, and that actually our companies have grown in the right direction. So, yeah. A couple questions to answer real quick, that if you're watching this right now and you're not able to see the video, there will be a replay. I don't know what's going on technically with some people not being able to see the replay, see the video portion. So hopefully you can just listen in, and that'll be great. But if not, then you can catch the replay. Okay, so we're gonna start where I feel like I have to start when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and that is right where you are. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. How are you feeling today? I know that sounds so simple, but how are you? And I would love to get some feedback in the comment window. This is not a listening only webinar. I really want you to participate, because you will get something out of it if you use either the chat window, use a notebook today. Just make sure that you're participating and not just sitting back and editing photos while you listen.
Can I say too, to that question, I was actually thinking about this last night, the fact that Lara always asks this question, how are you doing? And you know, you'll pass somebody in the grocery store and they're like, how are you doing? You're like, great, good. But like, how are you doing? I feel like when you ask that question, you've asked it of me 1,000 times, it's so nice to feel like you're heard and that it's okay to be where you are. So if it's okay with you, I'll tell you how I am.
Great.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired, you guys. I could actually like physically cry tears over it. I feel like I feel like I'm writing a book in the holiday season with 3 kids under 5. It's crazy. I sent a newsletter out to our newsletter friends today, and I was like, I have never been so overwhelmed in my life. Literally, in my life. So this webinar was a great, it's good timing for me, because I woke up this morning and I said, I'm going to say no to 10 things today. 10. I'm making a list. 10. I'm at 6 so far.
I love that. And I love what everyone is echoing too, that you're feeling anxious, tired. I'm just reading some of the comments. Overwhelmed, feeling excited, and there's no wrong answer here. The reason I'm asking this is because you have to know where you are right now in order to know how to leap to what's next. And I'm just going to guess that everyone watching this signed up, and you're taking an hour out of your day, which is a big deal. Like, we don't look at that as a small investment of time. We're so grateful that you're doing that, so that hopefully we can give a little bit to you what we have been given. And that's the knowledge that you start where you are. So for me, I will also tell you that I am also feeling a bit overwhelmed in some ways, grateful and overwhelmed. Like, we just had a staff meeting and I totally overscheduled things today, and I am still learning how in the world to do this balance of having 2 kids at home and a busy business at home. So I am not speaking from a place of perfection, but of really being in the muck of it and trying to figure it all out. So yeah, and at the same time, I'm feeling so grateful, because reading the comments right now, I am so grateful that we are all essentially in the same spot. A lot of you are also feeling overwhelmed, and I just want you to know right off the bat that there is hope, that I can almost guarantee you that if you participate in today and really listen in and let it all go, you will feel some of that overwhelm and that weight begin to lift off of your shoulders. So yeah. So how are you? Thank you guys so much for your honesty in the comment window too. You never know how your honesty is going to change someone else. Like, maybe you felt scared of sharing something, but then someone else shared it. So I'm going to very spontaneously ask Emily, how are you feeling?
I feel good. My due date is in 4.5 weeks or so.
Bless you.
But I feel really good. I feel like I feel at peace with that, and knowing that there's nothing you can ever do to be totally prepared, but that I'm chipping away at little things each day. So yeah, I feel calm right now.
I love that. This is why I have her around. But it's true. And I posted this morning on the Lara Casey Shop Instagram about the Southern Weddings ladies, because they really are so intentional in their decisions. And I will say that Emily is a great example of what we're going to talk about today, which is being intentional with your decisions, making some hard decisions to say no to some things and to say yes to other things allows you to have peace. And it's not easy. It's not like you just, wake up one day and you feel peace. That has come with a lot of hard work, right?
Yep, right.
Okay. Next question for you guys. We're going to talk about the big picture. So where do you want to be when you're 80 years old? If you were to step back and just really look at the big picture, because we have to, again, start with where we are in order to move forward to where we want to go. And then we have to look way far ahead of where the direction of our life is going. My friend Lisa says that every decision we make has an arrow attached to it, one direction or the other. So where do you want to be when you're 80? And are the things that you are investing your time and your heart and your treasure into today reflecting that? Are they attached to the arrow that is going to the place where you want to be when you're 80 years old? So I'd love to get some feedback in the comments. When you're 80 years old, what is going to be most important to you? Emily, what are your thoughts?
Sorry, I have a cough. I think that it's important that we start here. And I think that when I'm looking at, there are some big decisions that we're making right now, both in business and personally. And I think every decision, just like you said, has to point towards that. And once you're able to define what it is that you want, where you want to be when you're 80, what conversations you want to be having on your rocking chairs, and then B, where you want to be with your 80, and then B, like what every day you want to have next year. Excuse me. For me, this year, it was trying to figure out how to have 3 children and, like you said, a business at home. And it has been a lot of trial and error and a lot of falling on my face. And I feel like I need to make some intentional decisions next year in order to have some more peace in my house. And some of the madness is a little unavoidable, but some of it I think could be, I can make some intentional decisions around that. So, for me, for next year, obviously when I'm 80, I'm going to be talking about my grandkids and my children and the fun, amazing things we did together and the quiet, graceful moments that were in between the big milestones. And so for next year, I'm just gonna have to make some conscious decisions. One of the things I'm gonna actually end up doing next year is I'm gonna stop working at 2 every day. Because Brady's home from preschool and there is no getting any work time when there's a 4-year-old here. And it's just not worth trying to shuffle him around to do things. So yeah.
I am so grateful for your thoughts on that too, because I think a lot of people are resonating with what you said in the comments. Mm-hmm. And what I'm seeing mostly in the comments is you guys are all talking about relationships. Right. That even thoughts of traveling, those things are connected to sharing those experiences with other people or interacting with other cultures in the world. So I'm just going to guess, though, that when you're 80 years old, you don't have things like how many Instagram followers you have on your list, or
someone who's almost 80 is watching.
Oh my goodness, you're almost 80 watching. Oh my gosh, bless your heart. Oh my gosh, I love it. We could have a lot of things we could learn from you, I'm sure. But yes, it is an incredible thing to think about the things that we somehow feel are so important today, but they're really not in the big picture. So why are we spending our time?
It's the minutia, and we get sucked into it day by day, that it's so nice to just carve some time and put the train brakes on.
Exactly. And when we look back too at all the things that we've spent our time on, say in this year, I didn't write this question down, but this is a good question. What have you spent most of your time on this year? Let's just list a few categories. And when you're thinking about this, thinking about the mental time that you've spent on things. I can definitely say in my business life, a lot of it has been spent on worry sometimes, or fear of what other people think, trying to please people, trying to, reach our budget numbers. And those are not bad things. Certainly working hard so that you can meet a budget is a good thing. But when those things begin to overshadow the relationships, that's when we get lost.
Right.
And that's when we start to escape in social media or use these things that should be positive tools as distractions. So this is great. I love the thoughts that you guys have. Some people said worry, school, a lot of worry, stress. And, on the heels of that question, in thinking about the things that you all have spent your heart and time on, was it worth it to spend that time on the worry? I'm asking that of myself right now, too.
Yeah.
Whew, it makes me take a big, deep breath. It was never, ever worth it. There's that verse that says, who of you by worrying can add an extra hour to your life? It just wasn't worth it. I love these comments. I'm learning to worry less and pray more. Spent a lot of time working on the details of my wedding and not so much on the marriage, balancing obligations like money and bills and work. Yeah, this is so good, y'all. And keep it coming. And especially if you're sitting in a place right now and sharing this where it feels a little bit restless and uncomfortable to share it, we're going to get to a really good part soon. So stay with us.
I just saw somebody said watching TV on my phone. I can't tell you how much time I spent this year picking up toys, picking up things. And I was actually telling Brian last night, what if we just let our house be a disaster?
Yeah.
What if we just left all the Fisher Price everywhere? I mean, I could work around a primary color palette.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Sometimes that's just so free.
Change. We
Yeah.
decided to let Grace have the living room for herself to just make a mess and throw her dinos everywhere. And if that's where she wants to do it, then that's great. And she loves it. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right. So the next question after where do you want to be when you're 80 is when you think about that big picture of where you want to be when you're 80 and you think about your life now and there's like a divide in between there where things aren't totally matching up. Don't look at that as a super negative thing. Look at that as opportunity for you to cultivate a really amazing life in 2016. A life that has all of those decisions pointed with an arrow towards where you want to be when you're 80 years old and pointed towards relationships. We talk a lot in our office about the profit of people over the profit of paychecks.
Yeah.
And that's where I want my focus to be. So what are you saying no to? What are you going to say no to in 2016? When you think about that big picture, what are you going to say no to? What are you going to do about it? I'd love to hear some thoughts. And Emily, tell us some of the things that you're going to say no to.
Well, I think also, backing up just a hair, I think that it's important to note that we all have responsibilities. Obviously, I can't say no to the 3 kids out there. I can't say no to work. There's things we have to say yes to, but we can say no to all of the distractions that make those things a giant pain to us sometimes. Not my kids, my work. Things like that. Sometimes I can get to work and be like, oh, so many things to do. And it's really because I spent an hour last night on Facebook or yesterday on Facebook and didn't clear my inbox. So for me, oh gosh, next year, what am I saying no to? I guess I'm going to have to say no to the Gilmore Girls. I'm like 3 seasons in, but it's such a distraction. I have to write a book.
I'll stop on that for a sec because I'm sure a lot of people laughed at that just like I did. But something that Emily and I always talk about in the work we do with making things happen is that we tend to laugh off a lot of our distractions, right?
Right.
Like if I were to ask you guys how much time you spend on Facebook, for instance, or on Instagram, give me a number in the comments. And let's just be really honest here. And again, social media is not the enemy. These things aren't bad things if they're used well, but it can become mindless distractions. But so often we laugh them off, right? But
they're legitimately distracting.
They're legitimately distracting you from 3 little people at your office door, right? And I'm saying that to myself too. I actually do that a lot. I've caught myself at night scrolling on my phone, even if I'm not like commenting or whatever. I have definitely caught myself doing that. And you know what it does? It makes my wheels spin at night. It makes me not sleep as well. And it makes me go to bed with almost a sense of ingratitude and comparison. And it just kind of plants seeds of weeds in the garden of my heart. So there's one thing I'm saying no to is just the mindless scroll. Yeah,
the mindlessness. I mean, I think how many, moments of playing with Legos have I missed because I was picking up the other Legos.
In here, yeah.
I mean, I really feel like, especially when you have little children, it's so easy to miss the little things. when we're distracted by their other responsibilities we feel like we have. But something Brian and I started doing this year is we'll just let our house be a mess until the kids go to bed, and then we'll spend 15 minutes picking it up rather than doing it 30 times throughout the day. So yeah, I mean, I think for me next year, I'm also saying no to additional commitments that are unnecessary, that sound, they feel like I'm moving my career forward and I'm, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But at the same time, I just want to have a slower year next year.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about when I'm 80, I'm going to be looking back on the year. Sorry, can you hear them? The year that Brady's in kindergarten and I have 1-year-olds, and I don't want to miss those things, So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, somebody reiterated what I said before in the comments, which is that social media is not a bad thing. I say that all the time, because if you use it as the positive tool that it is meant to be, then it can be life-changing for people.
That's true.
We have to keep that focus there. So something that I do every year is I rewrite for myself a mission statement for why I'm using social media. Mm-hmm. And for me, I get really distracted by it sometimes. I have to literally stick it as a Post-it note on my laptop so that I remember this is why God gave you this platform. Not for yourself, not for you to mindlessly scroll and waste your time, but so that you can encourage people. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what are some things you're going to say no to? And by the way, this is live, so I'm going to feed my son while we're doing this.
I would say for me, and not to make it all about social media, but that's just something I've been thinking about in terms of my work day, is I feel like when I get distracted by it is when I don't have kind of a system set in place for it. And so then I end up just picking up my phone and checking Instagram, even though I checked it 10 minutes ago and nothing is updated on my feed. So for me, working on setting kind of just a system to keep it within the right time boundaries for me is something I'm looking forward to in 2016.
I so agree with that. And that's, that's one of the things we talk about with our planner, is that time blocking and having systems like that, and saying, oh, this was huge for me this year. Saying things like, on Sundays, it's about groceries. On Saturdays, it's about laundry. That way, all the things get done, and I'm not finding myself throughout the week, am I going to do it?
And you don't have to think about it, too. For me. It just clears
your brain, almost,
He's talking so much.
He's so funny.
He never usually talks this much, but I think he thinks that you're talking to him. So
we are.
All right, we're in the interest of time, we'll move on to our next question. So stay with us here. What are you going to say yes to? Sometimes when we have a hard time with figuring out how to say no to things, we actually have to look at the things we want to say yes to, because those are the reasons why we say the no's. Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to mute myself for a little while he talks, and you guys let us know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joshua, we grew up to be a motivational speaker, yes.
Ooh, that's too funny. Okay, so in terms of what we're saying yes to, I'm just saying yes to more of the good stuff and less of the minutia of getting through every day. I think for me, it's a lot about letting go of perfection and saying, I'm going to say yes to the mess in my house. I'm going to say yes to my bed not being made every day. And guys, that feels like a cardinal sin to me, like not making your bed every day. But I have been learning over the past 5 years as a mom that God just wants me to feel uncomfortable. He does. He just wants me to sit in it and not control it and not try to fix it and all that. So I'm saying yes to the mess. I'm saying yes to having emails in my inbox that don't get answered the same day. A lot of times we try to work in real time. I know I do. And that means I check my phone all the time, and I try to, I want to be a good professional, so I want to respond to things right away and all of that. But we hold ourselves to standards that are impossible. And I am the top offender, but I think it's something I've really been working through. So what are you guys saying yes to? Turning off notifications. Amen. Guys, if you haven't done
turn off all the dings.
Turn off all the dings. Get on unroll.me and turn off, unsubscribe from all the newsletter, except ours. Don't do that, but all the newsletters.
I think in talking about what we're saying no to and what we're saying yes to, it can get a little overwhelming at times. I know it does for me. If these things and these decisions that you're making and saying yes to things and saying no to things aren't coming from one core heart. Because it's not about living by a set of rules. I could just say, I'm saying no to cable TV. But if I don't have the first yes there, which is I'm saying yes to my marriage and being more intentional with that time. That's the reason I would say no to cable TV, which we did in our house. So again, it's not about living by a set of rules. It really is about relationships. And like I said, that the profit of people over anything else. When we look at the real success equation in life, in my newsletter this morning, I talked a little bit about the success equation and how that's something that really stripped away life from me for so many years, was believing that in order to be successful, I had to increase my work hours and decrease my rest. And Emily and I both, I'm looking at her right now because we lived in this for so long, of really just believing that that's the only way, that there was no other way than that. It's not true.
Yeah, we were at Making Things Happen one year when I said I was feeling a lot. It was on my heart that I wanted to give my child at the time something different than being in school every single day of the week. And I felt like I had worked hard enough to have this company that allowed me the flexibility to do that. And now it's amazing to have 5 girls working with me that were able to do that with as well. But I don't work on Fridays. And I said, standing in some room in some hotel somewhere, I am not going to work on Fridays anymore. And I haven't since then. And it is very difficult to not work on Fridays when you're a type A person who wants to get it all done and keep moving forward and all of that. But it has been the biggest blessing to me. It makes me want to tear up to say yes to Fridays. When Brady started preschool this year, on Fridays we would always listen to the dance party. I don't know if you guys listen to the Bobby Bones show, but we do. It's country music. And he has a dance party at 9 a.m. on Fridays. And we listened to it every Friday for as long as I could remember. And we danced in the car on our way to Starbucks. And the first Friday I didn't have the dance party with him in the car. I was like, what? This is my life now. It's so different. But I'm so glad I gave myself the gift of that. I will talk about those Fridays when I'm 80. I know it. And even though it was hard to say yes to that, it was worth it. Obviously, times a million. Okay, so what are you guys saying yes to as well? Yes to finding joy in the little things, to being present and doing things I feel called to do rather than get caught up in other people's expectations. How about saying no to comparison? How many of us get on Instagram and compare ourselves to other people's highlight reels? Can we all just sit on that for a minute? Social media is a highlight reel, including mine. Except for the picture I posted the other day of me crying while I held the babies, because sometimes that's what Christmas pictures feel like. But it's so easy for us to feel the negativity from places like that. And I will say yes to Instagram when I am on Instagram, to it being something that fills me up and not something that tears me down. And I have unfollowed tons and tons and tons of accounts because they make me feel less, or they make me feel like I look at them, and even if they're not doing this, I look at them and I think, man, they've got it together. And that's just not something I need to have in my heart. So saying yes to social media being something positive is also a good thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. But comparison is the biggest weed that keeps us from living our true purpose, because
so true.
It makes us ungrateful. We look at someone else's stuff or what they have or what we don't have, and we think, I am not enough. We think, how could I ever, like you said, rise to that impossible standard? And the answer is you could never rise to that impossible standard, because you were given a unique fingerprint that only you have. And if there's, you've known me for so long now, if there's one thing that I'm so passionate about, it is helping women. Sorry, dudes that are watching, I love you too. But women have my heart. Helping women to know their purpose. And in that, helping women to know that you've been given a unique assignment that is not like anybody else's. And if you find yourself comparing yourself to someone else, it's time to just put the train brakes on, because you're missing your life. I say that very boldly because I did it and I still catch myself doing it. But yeah, comparison just makes us ungrateful.
And you know what's awesome is that nobody says we have to even have a Facebook account. Like, who says you can have whatever life you want? You don't have to have these things. It's like on Fridays, who says I have to work on Fridays? Nobody. So I'll take Fridays off. I have that flexibility. There's so many little things I feel like we're all addicted to doing. We do it because society tells us to do it. We do it because we feel like we're obligated, that we can quit. And one of our friends and favorite authors, Bob Goff, says, it's Thursday, quit something. And it's his way of saying, like, you can have any day of the week, you can quit something. You don't have to do anything. It weighs us down. And what's fun is if you just sit down and write these things down, make yourself a little list and say, you know what, I'm going to turn my Instagram into something positive, and I'm going to go unfollow a whole bunch of people. I'm going to unsubscribe from all these emails in my inbox. You know, I'm going to take 10 minutes to fill my well, my tank every night by reading a good book or spending time in the Bible or praying or, you know, watching Gilmore Girls or whatever it is that makes you feel happiness and feel that joy and fills you up. Those are such easy things that when you put them all together, they add up to this giant big snowball that can make a life-changing difference in your life.
And I'm sure some of you might be listening, and there's two things I just wanted to touch on. One is maybe you don't have the flexibility to take any day of the week off. You know, Emily and I both work from home, so we're in like a different, you know, set of rules, if you will, than say those of you that are working a day job. Right. And my encouragement to you is just do what you can with what you have.
Yeah.
Just whatever time you've been given and use it really well. Even if you're someone that's working a 9 to 5, there's no flexibility in it. There is tiny flexibility that you may just have not seen. Maybe it is the ability to change the background on your iPhone screen.
Right.
Or maybe it is putting a picture up on your desk of what matters most to you. Maybe it's the interactions that you're having at the water cooler with people that may be gossiping and you're going to choose not to and turn that conversation into something positive. Your impact does not have to be on the internet, period.
Right.
Your impact could be exactly where you are. So use what you have right where you are and know that even if you're someone that is deeply desiring a creative job where you're working from home like us and you just can't figure it out yet, maybe you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now to affect a lot of change in people's lives. And the other thing I was going to say is that we just went through the process of filling out our power sheets as a team. And something that we learned was we got really overwhelmed at the end of this year through a lot of different things. But our word for next year is well. Emily, you mentioned that, you know, you must have a full well in order to be able to give back to people well. So Emily, tell us a little bit about that process for us and how you anticipate our year ahead being different because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's already hard. Like, it just because you have a word and that you've even done the prep work doesn't mean that you suddenly have a whole clear path for the entire year laid out. I mean, even in our team meeting this morning, we were talking about scheduling, and we still are up against the exact same problems that made us make the decisions we made last year, and we're going to have the same ones for this year. So we have the choice to try to figure out a new way to think about them or a new way to work around them. And your word and all your prep work, and that's what's going to help us make those decisions, but it doesn't necessarily make it easier.
It doesn't.
It's often harder than just doing what you've always done.
I agree with that. And that's something that I would love to impress on everyone here today is that you may finish this hour with us and say, oh my gosh, the thing that I know I need to do is really hard. That was not easy. I was wanting an easy answer. Emily and Lara did not fix my life in 1 hour. And I kind of hope you get to that point because I know that the times that I have been up against, and we as a company, and Emily, I mean, we've been friends for so long, me and the Emily's, this is Emily squared. I know that the times that we have been up against the hardest decisions or the biggest risks or the things that felt like they were just going to be like work to get through or hard conversations or whatever it is, man, those are the times that the best stuff happens. So if you have one of those daunting cliffs in front of you, I just want to encourage you to take a leap of faith because you imagine yourself on the other side of it. Because that's, for me, when I think about our year ahead, imagining ourselves having done the hard work of making those decisions and seeing ourselves on the other side of it with those wells filled is going to be worth it.
I think, too, that the biggest gift you can give yourself as you get ready for next year is a solid hour outside of us here, just with a piece of paper and a good cup of coffee or tea and a quiet place to just think about what went well this year and what didn't work this year. You know, our team is going to end up, we're going to do the power sheets. December got away from us, but when we get back from our Christmas break, we're going to work through the power sheets as a team as well. And that's one of the things that's in it is that, you know, what worked, what didn't, and how can we address those things? And what are we going to continue doing that we figured out? You know, the growth process, we figured some things out that worked and we experienced a lot of things that didn't. So what can we do to address those things? But having that, just that quiet time to even think about that is the biggest gift you can give yourself.
And Natalie in the comments said, you know, is anybody else looking for purpose staying at home with kids as a mom? And I love this quote that says, it's from Andy Stanley, that the greatest contribution you might make to the kingdom of God isn't something that you do, it's someone that you raise. So I would just want to encourage you and any moms that are listening, and not just the moms, anyone, that maybe you're exactly where you're supposed to be to affect influence in someone's life. And I just champion you. I just want to give everybody high fives and kick you off the cliffs today.
That's such a good quote.
We just have a few minutes here until we're going to open it up for questions. So we are going to open it up for questions in a minute, but we wanted to give you guys some practical tools as you move into the next year. I have my 2 practical tools here on my desk. I haven't even unwrapped it yet, but that is what I'm very excited to do. I have my Simplified Planner. And I'm so excited about the pineapple one. It's just awesome, Emily.
Hey.
The Simplified Planner in my kitchen, open at all times. And
I love that.
For our family planning, and it's simple. It really is simple. That's why I love it. But one thing that I have been really itching to do and just excited to do is, and this is a practical tip for you all, is to plan to succeed in what matters. Plan to succeed in what matters. And I want you to open up your calendars, your planners, whatever you got, and go ahead before the year gets filled up and block out intentional time. Mm-hmm. Now, for you, maybe with your corporate job, or maybe you're in a day job right now, maybe that means looking and evaluating the amount of vacation days you have and purposing those for things right now before the year gets away from you, so that you have something to look forward to and using those well. For me, I'm just going to block out family time. You know, who knows how our plans are going to change, but at least I will go into the year having blocked that time out before all the other stuff happens. Mm-hmm. One thing that I'm super excited about that I mentioned in our team dinner and that Emily knows about too is Ari and I are going to be celebrating 10 years of marriage next year. And I'm just so excited that we have already, in both of our schedules and time, blocked that out. We're going to have like a little wedding, and we're so excited. And Grace is like, why are you guys getting married again?
Hard to explain.
But to me, that's where I want the eyes of my heart to be when I go into the new year, is on my family and on all the amazing things that God has done in our marriage to totally transform us, and celebrate that. And speaking of too, for anybody that is just curious about our marriage story, you can read all about it in my book, Make It Happen, but you can also go to this website, and I'm going to type it into the chat window for you, just because I don't have time to share anything right now. So it's tinyurl.com/unveiled. How do you spell veiled? E-I?
Yeah.
English major right here. You too, Emily, right? Unveiled marriage. So you can go to tinyurl.com/unveiled marriage to read more about our marriage story. So what are some things that you are going to block out on your schedule besides the obvious of having a baby?
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons that I mentioned the social media, feeling a need to set more boundaries around it and things like that, is because I'm going to be working 9 to 4 instead of my usual 9 to 5 next year when I come back, and still working on the same project. So for me, that was just kind of something that I wanted to set a little bit different. I don't know, lost for the word, but just I don't know.
It's okay. It's all good. Sometimes when I'm pregnant, my brain just goes, woo, and everybody in the comments probably like, I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
Oh yeah.
I totally get what you're saying though. And like,
that's actually something I thought of this morning too, was how proud I was for Emily asking for that, to say, I mean, that's why I say she's one of the most intentional people I know, because she had the forethought to say, you know what? I want to be working from 9 to 4 instead of 9 to 5, so that I can have that hour to pick up my daughter and have some quiet time with her before, you know, the rush of the evening. So how awesome is that? And I couldn't say no to that, because that's so what our company's all about, is making what matters happen.
That's so awesome.
So like the back steps before that was just being realistic about like what I can accomplish in a day, and what the extra time spent picking up from daycare or whatever it is going to add to my day, and thinking about all the other things that I need and want to do in the evening or in the morning, whatever, and trying to find a solution that made everything work. And so
there's a pregnancy brain club happening right now in the comments.
Yes.
So awesome.
You're not alone. But yeah, I'm super excited to open up the Simplified Planner. Like, I just cannot wait, because I know that that's going to help me to work backwards. Like we said, you look at the big picture. So for me, even looking at the big picture of the year ahead, taking that planner and flagging those things, bookmarks in there, doing the washi tape, whatever it is, so that I make the decision to make those things first priority.
There's a page in here. Yeah, there's a page in here that's called your 2016 bucket list. And what we do as a family is on our Christmas break, our whole office takes 2 weeks off for Christmas. And Brian and I get together around New Year's and we write down all the things that we want to do in 2016. And that could be as easy as go to the pumpkin patch in October, or go to Disney World in the summer. We're actually taking a beach vacation in March with all of our kids, first vacation with all of them. So we write all those things down and you have them on a list, and then you take that list and you actually put them on the calendar. So I don't know about you, but it doesn't happen if it's not here. So we are gonna write all of those things down that we wanna do. And they can be big things like vacations, or small things like, going to the pumpkin patch or taking a beach Saturday. Even the weekends for us are hard because with two little bitty ones, it's easy for us to wake up on Saturday, have laundry to do, have grocery shopping to do, have a house to pick up, babies need to be fed, babies take a nap. It's very easy to get to the end of the day and be like, we didn't do anything. And so we put those on the calendar and they take precedence over everything else.
I love that. And I also love, side note, Emily, that on your 2016 holiday page, you also included all of the Jewish holidays.
I did. I actually.
For those of you that don't know, my husband is from Jewish background. So yeah, yay Passover. That's awesome.
So many times I've almost texted you to be like, can Ari just look over this and make sure I got it all?
It looks great. Mazel tov. We're going to get to questions in just a couple minutes here, but just to give you a few more practical tips and tools, the way that we are both using our Power Sheets is, I actually don't know how you guys are going to do it, but I'll tell you how we're going to do it. We did them as a company already, and there is a free download you can get on the Power Sheets listings in our shop at lauracaseyshop.com. If you're going to use them as a team, as a group, with a friend, there's some helpful tips and even conversation starters. And so many people have actually already done them and used them, and it's been great. Okay. So you can go to lauracaseyshop.com, click on Power Sheets, and there's a download in the listings there. But for us, we did them as a team first, and then I'm in the middle of working through my personal Power Sheets right now. And then once I'm done with those, hopefully this week, I'm just taking my time with it, I'm going to break out my simplified planner. And having gone through the Power Sheets, I know it already has, I'm halfway through, will help me simplify my vision for the year.
Right.
And it's going to help me know more of what to say yes to and what to say no to. That's why I made them, because I just had so much going on.
It's that overarching thing that we talked about, like figuring out the vision and then doing the practical, like putting it down, and in the tending lists, the tending sheets. Like we've used the tending list forever here. And I've worked through Power Sheets on my own. There you go.
Hey, I like your binder. That's awesome.
Thanks, I like my binder too. I have worked through Power Sheets on my own before, but the using them as a team we have not done. And we actually set aside an evening in January where we're all over the country and we're all going to get on Google Hangout and work through some of these together before doing the stuff on our in our planners. But yeah, my favorite part of these are the tending lists. They help me so much because you're able every single day to say, here's the things that if I got through my day and I said I did these 5 things, I'm good. And for me, that clears up brain space where I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. It's all right there.
Somebody asked about the Power Sheets download link. Just go to this link right here that I just posted. I'll also post the Simplified Planner link in a sec too. Go to lauracaseyshop.com, click on Power Sheets, and in that listing, you will see a free download for groups. So it says at the bottom, if you're using this as a group or as a team, you can download that for free. It's kind of fun.
And it's not Power Sheets, just to clarify, it's instructions for using them as a group. So I think some people might have been confused about that.
Oh, and thank you, Trish. She posted it. Awesome. That's great. Good. We're going to open it up for questions now, and I think we'll end up giving you a few more practical tools and tips as we go through questions. So before you ask the questions in the comments, though, know that there are there's a lot of folks here. So we hope that we will have enough time to get through as many questions as we can. But I know you got to go pick up Brady from preschool, right?
Yes, but I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I don't even know how we get to the questions that you flagged. Let's see here. Hold on, y'all. Go ahead and put some questions in the chat window, and we will just take whichever first ones we get. And I think you click the X to erase it. So that's where we go.
I can start addressing some of the ones I see on
Okay, go for it. You do it while we try to figure this out.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. I see one that says, do you fast from social media? So Laura and I have not actually talked about this, but we can, I think we're probably on the same page. We used to take social media free weekends, and it was like a thing. We would actually like put our phones away or take the apps off our phone or whatever. And now I feel like I've gone through a heart shift and like a brain change where I don't feel the need on the weekends to like pick it up and get on it and you know, be on social media all the time. For me, I think that came from setting a mission statement and having a system in place for social media for my business, because that was why I would get on there so much. On the weekends, I'd be on my phone looking for, you know, customer service questions or, you know, what can I post today? And now that we have an actual system in place and we have an actual mission statement and what we want to accomplish with social media, it just changes it. I don't look at it the same way I used to.
So what is your social media mission statement, someone asked?
Yeah, well, our mission on social media is to inspire and equip women, busy women, to make what matters happen in their lives. And that's our mission statement with our shop, with our social media, with our products, and with everything. And everything we do, every decision we make comes back to that. You know, if we post this on social media, are we inspiring women? Are we empowering them? Are we making them feel like they can do it and not like they have to be compared to somebody's perfect life and that kind of thing? So yeah, what's yours?
Very similar, but our mission statement is to help women live on purpose through all the platforms that we have. So with Southern Weddings, help women to live on purpose instead of by accident. And that comes for us from the heart of me having lived by accident all the time. Has anybody felt that? We're going to shift off of comments and questions for a sec, but has anybody been feeling lately like you're living by accident? Because I definitely was there, and it is not a fun place to be. I just felt like I was trying to survive, and Ari and I were roommates, and my business was just falling apart, and it was just not good. So living on purpose is our mission statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. I'm not alone in that. Amen, friends. And there is hope. All right. So let's get to a few more questions here. Man, it's moving really fast. Everybody is all on board with living on purpose. Okay, I'm going to go backwards here and see if I can find a couple questions that apply to both of us. Okay, I know there's not a lot of, okay, oh my gosh, guys.
Oh, it's moving so fast. Can pause the comments or like ask?
I don't think so. Let's just everybody pause for a sec so we can get to the ones we have. When is Making Things Happen in 2016? I'm so excited that Emily Lay is going to be joining us as a speaker in live in person, and Emily Thomas will as well. I'm going to give you guys that website, but it is in March of next year, and we are already selling lots and lots of tickets. So if you want to come, this is going to be the one to come to. Eventbrite.com. So mth2016.eventbrite.com. Amy asked, what brings you joy? So Emily, what brings you joy?
Oh my goodness, what brings me joy? Honestly, I find so much joy in the season that I'm in right now, in the mess and in my kids. And that's been a really hard place for me to get to. I found that when life gets really overwhelming, if I just lay on the floor with all the toys around me, or I take the kids outside, watching them discover and seeing them have fun, even when life isn't perfect, I feel like that's where I find the most joy right now. But this is another fun little practical thing that you can do. There's a lot of other things I find joy in. I love the beach. I love good wine. I love coffee. I love girls' nights with my girlfriends here in Tampa. I love old books. There's so many things that I love that it's so easy to not infuse those into your life. And those are just really practical ways that you can infuse joy into your life. If you write those things down, even the tiny little things, and you find ways to kind of bring them in. Like I have this, I don't know if you can see my gray Malin print behind me. It's a picture of the beach, and I love it. Laura and I are both from Pensacola. It's the most beautiful beaches in the entire world. And it just makes me think of home. It makes me happy. And it's a little way to bring joy into an otherwise kind of hectic place in my house.
I'm going to kind of piggyback on that question. Sorry, we're trying to figure out these questions so we can get to you guys here.
Yeah.
This one right here. Somebody asked, what if you don't have children for joy? And my answer to this question brings that up, is that there are, like Emily said, so many things that bring me joy. Like God is just so good to give us so many things. But to me, the greatest joy comes from humility. And that might sound really weird. But I've been thinking about this a lot since I started my Power Sheets last week, that the times that I feel a different kind of joy, it's just like a peace that passes all understanding, are the times when I surrender and it's not about me. The times when I realize that I'm wrong or that I can't do it all, or it's just a time when I always find new birth in my life, whether it's, a new path to take or something that's about somebody else. I hope that makes any sense. Does that make any sense to you guys? Don't comment in the comment window because Emily's trying to monitor it. But for me, it's about humility. So I'd say that if you're in a season of singleness, or maybe, children aren't something that you want in your life even, or you're trying, and maybe you're in a season of infertility or whatever it is, the circumstances in your life don't have to dictate the amount of joy in your life.
Amen.
And that's what I've been learning, especially in the hard times, that my well could be filled to the brim, no matter what's going on, as long as I'm deeply connected to God at the core. So Carol says she wants to send her 2 sons to Making Things Happen. We'd love to have them, and men are always invited, but it is definitely a female-focused event. So I would say maybe we find them something else. But if you want to get them a copy of my book, or Emily has a book coming out too soon, although that's also for women. Sorry.
Very much. It's very much for women. I see a question that I think is one that would be great to talk about. Ashley said, Lara and Ems, can you talk about the idea of starting over in a new way, transforming a bad year or
that question? Yep.
into new or refreshed? I am with you. I have done all of these exercises, guys, and this is a continual thing. This is not something that you figure it out and you're there and you've arrived and your life is amazingly perfect. This is, your circumstances are always changing and you're continually connecting back to your core. So I am in a season of circus right now. Brian and I look at each other every night and we say, when is it going to slow down? I asked him that last night and he said in 18 years. So there are things you can't control, like having 3 kids under 5. And so we are just trying to capitalize on the good parts, the things we have figured out. And we have routines and systems and traditions in our house figured out. So for me to come out of this season, or really just adjust our circumstances, for me, it's just an attitude shift. It's not so much, going and doing specific things necessarily, but it's very much an attitude shift and being okay in the mess and knowing that there are some circumstances you can't control, but that life doesn't always have to be so perfect to be happy.
Mm-hmm. I was moderating questions. Sorry, guys. So I missed that question. Can you say the question again?
Yeah. Oh, you go ahead.
Just if you're coming out of a 2015 that was really hard and a struggle for you, how do you prepare and shift into a new and refreshed new year?
That's such a good question. I don't know why I didn't mention this in any platform before, but I had a moment the other day where I just couldn't let the tears stop coming, because I remembered that 2 years ago at this time, I was about to walk into a season of weathering a miscarriage and a lot of big business things just totally falling apart. And it was a deep season of winter for me, like a true winter in my soul too. I was in the middle of writing, Making Things Happen, Make It Happen. And it was just a really awful time. And that may not be anywhere near the circumstances that you have experienced and that you're talking about. But for me, it was really hard to come out of that. But what I learned in that was so clearly demonstrated to me by driving up into my driveway after that whole experience. We'd come back from the hospital and I was so sad and just broken. And I looked over into the median of our yard and I saw little green shoots popping up in the middle. And I saw what it was, and it was the bulbs that I had planted in the fall before. And it was little tiny shoots of new life coming out of this dark, dead, wintered, frozen ground. And it made me realize that after winter always comes spring. And our mess really does become our message. So my encouragement to you is that if you've walked through a very difficult season, or maybe a difficult year, or a difficult decade, know that sometimes getting to the hardest of the hardest times in our lives is actually a time of growth, and good things will come out of that. I think that new life comes out of the times when we feel like we've lost everything. So I hope that encourages you and answers that question a bit. But that has definitely encouraged me lately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, other questions?
People were wondering about this one.
Okay, a lot of people have been asking about encouragement for a 20-something starting out, trying to live on purpose. Such a good question. And I love that you asked that too, because Emily and I share a heart for encouraging young women, especially. Yeah. So Emily, I'll start with you. What is some advice that you have for 20-somethings?
Oh my goodness. What would I tell myself 12 years ago? I would say enjoy this time in your life. There is nothing like your 20s. I'm enjoying my 30s very much, but there's nothing like being at the cusp of your life, being at the very beginning and having opportunity to make decisions. That, like you said, like the little shoots, those little decisions you make now will play out for the rest of your life. So I would say that. I would say in my 20s, what I wish I would have had was genuine community. And I did not have that when I was very, very young 20s. It wasn't until I really moved to Tampa and I became really close with some girls here and that I found that community. And it's so easy for us when we're young to find our community online or to find our community in who, just other people our age. But finding people that you genuinely connect with, it's going to help you grow. It's going to help you learn. It's going to help you be connected professionally. But I think finding that real FaceTime and that actual community is so important when you're that age.
I would agree with that 100%. That is my best advice, actually, is to surround yourself with good people, number one. Whether that means, joining a great small group at a church or a community group. Ari and I were talking the other night about how we could almost do any job as long as we were surrounded by good people.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. So I think surrounding yourself with good people is number one. And then making some strong decisions on where you're going to put the eyes of your time and your heart. Yeah. So, putting your time and energy into sowing into other people, into good resources and good books and good learning experiences, especially and I don't envy anyone in college these days. It is a hard place to be. There's just so many distractions and so many things that can throw you off track. So I think being around a good support system is really important. And also having great mentors. So something they do at our church is we always have a college student each semester that we are like a surrogate family to. So I don't know if you guys are connected to a church in that way, but having some sort of older mentor to have them around is, I think, so valuable. I wish I would have had that when I was younger. So yeah, I hope that helps.
I saw a question on here I would love to answer.
Go for it.
Okay, sorry, I'm watching him scroll as you're talking and I see this. Do you have any advice for ways to start if you've made mistakes in the previous year, primarily in relationships? Wow, yes, I do. There was something that was like heavy on my heart for many years, and it was a relationship that had fallen apart for a multitude of reasons. And it was one of those things that I would get through the year and be like, I did the things I want to do this year, except for that. I never could approach that person. I never could have that conversation. And finally, God just laid it big on my heart maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, where he just said, this is going to be hard. Pick up the phone.
Wait, we have to tell a backstory on this.
Yeah.
Can we back up one step on this one?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this was a total chain of events that happened.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't remember how it came on my plate. I think it was making things happen. Yes, it was making things happen. And I was thinking so much about comparison and the things that were holding me back. And I realized that I was comparing myself to Emily Lay that's here. Oh. And I was feeling jealous, and I was feeling like this sense of I'm not enough. And it just dawned on me that I was harboring this. And I just thought, oh my gosh, here I am with this dear friend of mine, and I am jealous of her success right now. And so I was like, well, I could just kind of let this go and not say anything and just get over it myself. Or I could do the really hard thing and call her up on the phone and talk to her about it. And even though she probably had no idea, just to confess that to her and build a stronger relationship. So I took the leap after making things happen in November, and I did. And I called Emily and I said, Emily, I just want you to know that I have been harboring these feelings, and I am so sorry. Like, I love you and I want us to support each other. I don't want to compare myself to you. And I've had these ugly feelings that have nothing to do with you. So then 2 days later.
Yeah. So that happened. That happened. And I think I was just inspired by the fact that you were like, you know what? I'm just going to make a phone call. And so I did. I sent a text message to an old friend and I said, can I call you? And she was like, sure. And so I called her and I remember being so unbelievably nervous, like can't breathe nervous. And I just said all the hard things and we had a really difficult conversation. And it was so freeing for me in other areas of my life. For whatever reason, that thing was just like a knot in my heart. And I didn't even know like how big it was until I addressed it. So thanks for asking that question. I think that we all kind of deal with things like that. And even if, they could be big things, they could be giant, they could be tiny, but you never know what kind of little rocks in your heart, how much they'll hold you back. So
forgiveness is powerful and it can really open up a chain reaction of all kinds of things. And what we're telling you right now is not the end of it. Like there were so many other chain reactions, like Emily's nodding because we experienced a lot of them here in our office.
Yeah.
So many good things. Somebody asked, we've just got a couple more minutes for question, but if you're just joining us and you missed part of it, you're going to get the recording an hour after we finish. So there will be a recording that will be sent to your email an hour after we finish. The question is, how do you find motivation? And my answer to this is I think about how lost I was before, how I lived by those rules that I thought I had to live by. I thought that I should be working hard at the expense of time with Ari and my marriage. I thought that I should be trying to climb the success ladder now so that I could, rest some other day. And I really found my life slipping away. And I don't know if anybody else has, felt that, but I really felt like everything was out of my control at that point. And it took a lot of hard decisions. But anyway, that's for a whole nother webinar. So the way that I find motivation is thinking back to that time and how lost I was and how I never want to go back there again. And how there is powerful hope available to all of us in making what matters happen. And those things do not come easy. They are hard decisions that you have to make sometimes. So a quick story is that for me, one of the first decisions I had to make was, I had a BlackBerry at the time. I had to make the decision to choose my marriage over my BlackBerry. And this may seem funny, but do you remember the flashing light of death? Remember that thing, the red light? Yes, Emily's doing the hand motion. I'm so glad that that doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, I had to actually remove the battery from it. Not just turn it off, but I removed the battery. I stuck the battery inside my desk drawer with a Post-it note on it that says, you can do this. And in my laptop's place on my desk, I put a Bible. I actually remember one time putting my laptop underneath my bed. I just had to put so many checkpoints in place because I knew that I would mess up. I knew I would be tempted by it because it was just habit and it seemed easy. It was like, oh, it's easy to get on my phone. It's easy to work on the weekends.
Right.
But instead, I took the battery out and it took just one day of making that decision that sparked a whole lifetime of change for me. So a lot of you are asking questions about, how do I turn my passions into a full-time business? How do I, take this giant leap of faith? How do I basically bite off the entire elephant right now? My answer to you is you don't. You start with little by little steps forward. Little by little progress adds up. And this is mirrored to us in the creation all around us. When we look at things like I always think about babies. Like if we were to get pregnant and then the next day have a baby, that would be crazy, right? It would just be nuts. And we would miss that beautiful time of 9 months. Well, sometimes not so beautiful, but anyway, we would miss that beautiful time of 9 months of ripening in there. We would miss the time of being able to figure out where this baby's going to sleep or learning about birthing classes, learning how to be a good parent. You miss the good stuff that happens in the waiting. So for those that are listening right now, and there's so many big things that you want to make happen, I can tell you very honestly from the three of us and all the people I know that have realized dreams, if you will, it all started with one baby step. That's it. It just starts with a tiny little seed that you plant. So Emily and I were talking before about what's the one call to action that we want to leave you guys with. And that is to take one step today. Like, don't let these 24 hours end until you take one baby step forward. And maybe that is looking back at your list of what you're saying yes to and the list of what you're saying no to. and making a decision about one of those things. Maybe one of the things is I'm saying no to Netflix in the new year. Go cancel that Netflix subscription, you know, just cancel it. You won't die, promise. Take your cell phone plug and plug it in your kitchen instead of by your bed. Take your simplified planner out. I can't wait to do this, guys. And fill out your bucket list or write in your vacation days there. Start your power sheets. Just open up that first page where it says, today is the day I started, and write in the day. So yeah, just one baby step forward.
Yay. Thank you guys for joining us here.
We are so grateful. And just a few links that you guys had asked for before. If you want to get your simplified planner, you can go to emilylay.com. And what kinds do you guys have left, Emily?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, what kinds of planners do you guys have left now?
We have all of them, but the Happy Stripe Daily and the Weekly are almost sold out.
Awesome. And for us, you can go to, I'm going to type this in the comment window, laracaseyshop.com. We're completely sold out of one-year workbooks, but we still have a few one-year worksheet sets, as well as fun binders like Emily and I just showed you before. I'll show you all again.
Sorry,
they're awesome. We do not offer a Power Sheets download for many reasons, but you can get those at laracaseyshop.com. I also right now have a giveaway going on at laracasey.com/blog. It's a Mama's Gift Guide giveaway, and you can win a simplified planner.
Yay!
And an Emily Lay baby book. So if you want to win one of those, the giveaway ends today. It ends at midnight tonight. So go to laracasey.com/blog and enter to win that. What else? Emily Lay is writing a book. Emily Thomas is also writing a book with Southern Weddings. Oh, she's like, I'm doing what? So be on the lookout for that. And you guys are wonderful. Thank you again so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we're just wishing you a wonderful 2016. We'll have to do this again, Lara. It was fun.
I know it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this free webinar from us. We had a great time. Thanks, Emily, for joining us as well.
My pleasure.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.